2023. A match between the Mambris versus General Atomic. Can I hear both team supporters? Please unmute your mic. Hello? Can I hear the supporters? Okay, maybe everyone is still a little busy with their work at this hour. First and foremost, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Lara Sandoko, and I'm from Kedeputian Wilayah 10. I will be your moderator today and lead this session until it ends. We would like to express our gratitude for today's amazing adjudicators. First adjudicator, Miss Ayatullah Pomalingo. How are you, ma'am?
Hello,
Hello,
Mbak
ma'am.
Laras and everybody.
Thank
It's
you.
really great to see you.
Thank you, ma'am. Second adjudicator, Mr. Andi Ashar. Hello, sir. How are you? Do I sound clear? Okay, maybe Mr. Andi Ashar is having a little connection problem. Last but not least, the honorable adjudicator, Mr. Andi Asrul Juwanda. Hello, sir. How are you?
Halo, I'm okay. Thank you. Ini baru
Thank you, sir.
kenalan, Mbak. Ternyata connect.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Please let us know if there is something to clear out. And here we have two teams who have joined. Allow me to introduce them to all participants. In the affirmative house, we have the Mambris. We have Mr. Faris Isa Nugraha as the first speaker, Ms. Putri Rezeki as the second speaker, Mr. Muhammad Ihsan Safa as the third speaker with their counselor, Mr. Frisky Arlin. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of the Mambris? Can anyone please explain why do you call yourself the Mambris?
Okay, the Mambris itself come from the native language of Papua, especially Biak Numfor. Mambri itself means the great warrior, so we will fight till the end. Cheers.
What a nice name. Very, very creative. Okay, in the negative house, we have General Atomics. We have Miss Ani Rahmayani as the first speaker, Miss Niken Umur Raihana as the second speaker, Mr. Ida Bagus Madedwi Indrawan as the third speaker with their counselor, Mr. Iwan Kurnia. What about General Atomics? Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of General Atomics?
Okay, we take it from the atom, means the small particle, but have a strong impact to our universe. That means that our presence maybe have a strong impress for the teams. Thank you.
Thank you. Such a beautiful meaning behind the name. Okay, before we start, allow me to read some small rules for all participants. First, no participants are allowed to open their microphone. Second, team members have to rename themselves with the predefined format. I see that you already changed it. Third, team or their supporters are not allowed to show any sign of their work unit. Fourth, each team members joins with their own Zoom account and are not allowed to join through single account. And last, the operator may do necessary thing to make sure that the session runs smoothly. Let's start the debate. So our motion for today is, this House believes that Indonesia should start to implement gender-neutral public facilities. Definition: gender-neutral means that it is suitable for, applicable to, or common to both male and female genders, not limited to people of just one gender. The challenges: the House that believes in this motion must convince the judges that gender-neutral public facilities have a positive impact to society. The first chance of speaking comes to the first speaker of affirmative side. The operator, please help with the timer, please. Okay, first speaker of affirmative side, are you ready? Your time
Yes,
begins once you start speaking.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the honorable adjudicators, the negative team, the moderators, and all audience. We are from the affirmative team. The motion of our debate is the House believes that Indonesia should start to implement gender-neutral public facilities. Today, as first speaker, I will be talking to you about the reason why Indonesia should implement gender-neutral public facilities. Indonesia, like many other countries, is making significant strides towards promoting gender equality, while progress has been made in various aspects of society. One area that remains largely overlooked is the provision of gender-neutral public facilities. Implementing gender-neutral facilities can create a more inclusive and equitable society, ensuring that all individuals, regardless of their gender identity, can access public spaces comfortably and without discrimination. This House wants to share the vision about the benefit of gender-neutral public facilities and argues why Indonesia should begin implementing them. First reason why it should be implemented is promoting inclusivity and accessibility. Implementing gender-neutral public facilities ensure that everyone feels welcome and included. By removing gender-specific labels such as men and women, these facilities accommodate individuals who identify beyond the binary gender spectrum. This will promote inclusivity for transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming individuals who often face discomfort or discrimination when using gender-segregated facilities. Gender-neutral facilities provide a safe, supportive environment where all individuals can access public spaces without fear of judgment or exclusion. Besides of that, for example, of the gender-neutral public facilities is toilet or bathroom. The benefit of all gender bathroom or toilet is that it allows parents and carers looking after a person of a different gender to accompany them into the bathroom more easily. This makes the experience of being out and about with your children much less stressful, knowing that if nature's call, you never need to worry about sending them in on their own. Care of disabilities or elderly, it makes life easier too, as depending on the needs of the person in your care, you may no longer need to locate and wait for accessible toilets, which are far fewer in number and can be higher in demand for some venues like Mambris Stadium and the Rod Laver Arena have taken positive steps to provide inclusive spaces by making all gender toilets available at AFL Games and the Australian Open. It is stated on article from Access and Safety by Bruce Bromley. So the honorable adjudicators, based on the reason I explained before, the House believes that Indonesia should start to implement gender-neutral public facilities. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, the first speaker of negative side. Your time begins once you start speaking.
Thank you for the moderator for the opportunity in this afternoon. Let me present an argument related to the argument of the affirmation team. It is true every human being has their own freedoms, but if we examine more deeply that the freedoms we have directly proportional in the limitation that must be fulfilled as well, such as whether it's against religion, morality, public interest to the integrity of the nation, right? Because the fact I'm finding the negative impact arising from the providing from all genders or gender neutral conclude that from the religious standpoint, it's clear that there are two genders, but this concept of gender neutral doesn't lead to sexual orientation, but is the practice in the public facility. It will lead to deviation from a religious standpoint, where the woman and the man are prohibited from the one room in the public facility because it's the best on privacy space of human beings. In the term of security, it is also the same. There's no law in Indonesia to provide the scenes of the security for non-binaries and the safety of women and men when using public facility. There is still a long going on where there are top 3 places, namely 30 public routes and 19% public transportation and 15 school or campus. Freedom of expression must not violate the norm of caste and religious norms, including freedom of expression to declare gender identity. According to him, self-expression as a gender neutral violate politics religions norm. Moreover, we in Indonesia still adhere to Eastern culture or strong religious laws. And women have specially benefit for using public facility. There is a regulation Undang-Undang Nomor 25 Tahun 2009 to accommodate women has a special user in public service. These are particular condition for the women such as pregnancy, breastfeeding, or caring her child. So important to spare that they use the public facility, especially based on their gender. And Indonesia has an agency related the specialization of public facility regulasi regulated in gender mainstreaming PUG in Indonesia was regulated by Presidential Instruction Number 9/2000 on gender mainstreaming in national development. The regulation mandates that experience, aspiration, and constraint of the men and women, elderly people with to be considered in the process of planning, preparing, implementing, monitoring, evaluating national development policy and program. In this matter of the transgender people, then the absolutely is no urgency at all because Indonesia fund doesn't support the existence of the movement of the law. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, second speaker of affirmative theme. Your time begins once you start speaking.
Good afternoon, the honorable adjudicators. The topic for our debate is that Indonesia should start to implement gender-neutral public facilities. We, the affirmative house, believe that this statement is true according to some valid reasons that will be delivered with concrete evidence as well. But before I start my argument, I want to correct the statement from first speaker of negative house. That's that we need to take some notes from religious standpoints, which is completely wrong. Due to our debate today is whether public facility be implemented or not. If we talk about religion, which is a kind of dogmatism, the debate is over. There will be no room to argue. Let us set another time to debate about philosophical thing and all of the things that are related with dogmatism. And beside of that, lack of data that you provide there, if you really want to talk about religion. So our first speaker has already explained about inclusivity and accessibility. Even the first speaker said about the data itself. So now, at this very moment, I will be talking about safety and privacy point. Gender-neutral facilities also address concern related to safety and privacy. For instance, transgender individuals may face harassment or violence when forced to use facilities that do not align with their gender identity. Other than that, Human Rights Watch released a report titled Scare in Public, Indonesia's Anti-LGBT Moral Panic, which states attacks by Indonesian police and militant Islamic group against people presumed to be LGBT in several public places like what happened in Jakarta and numerous other big cities in Indonesia. Can you imagine it? Even the official from the official of Indonesia, police do the attack to the presumed to be LGBT, not the LGBT. It's already persecution on that. So by implementing gender-neutral facilities, Indonesia can create a safer environment for everyone, reducing the risk of discrimination, assault, or discomfort. Moreover, gender-neutral facilities often have individual stalls and increased privacy measures, ensuring that all users have a comfortable and private space to attend their needs. Based on study with the Transgender Law Center publication, it states that all gender spaces or gender-neutral facilities safer than gendered spaces because multiple persons using the same facilities that receive more foot traffic and generally more open and visible, making less attractive to predators. So the main point is making less attractive to predators. We can make the attacks, the violent harassment, and all of the eradicated. So based on those scientific reports and all the facts being stated, we as the affirmative house strongly believe that Indonesia should start to implement gender-neutral public facilities. Thank you for the opportunity given.
Thank you. Next, the second speaker of negative theme. Your time begins once you start speaking.
Thanks to moderator. Good afternoon, the honorable of the adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen. The affirmative team said before about religious thing. Historically, gender-segregated bathrooms have been the norm. Changing opinions on gender norms has pulled a shift to unisex facilities, consequently uncovering some people's discomfort with the idea, embarrassment around but a communal toilet experience. Women may feel uncomfortable tidying up in front of the mirror after attending to their menstrual needs in unisex bathrooms. They may also find public toilets distressing to use for hygienic reasons. Individuals suffering from a shy bladder could feel self-conscious around other gender groups in such environments. The affirmative team said before about gender equality that can be implemented using public facilities together to promoting inclusivity, but they already forgot about the risk and the others impact that can be happen to one of gender, especially for women. Let me continue the explanation about the risk that first speaker said before. There are three other criteria that must be fulfilled in gender-responsive infrastructure according to Gender Impact Assessment Research of Social Economy and Environment Research Development Center in 2013. The third point is safe infrastructure. The need of feeling secure has relevance to guarantee of security, stability, protection, structure, predictable situation and circumstance of fear and anxiety. National Commission on Violence Against Women provide data. In the last 13 years, there are 20 sexual harassment cases with total of 93,960 cases, and 23.7% between them happens in public facilitation in Indonesia. Besides that, there is a fact about unsafeness public transportation that reported 36% of women are afraid to use public transportation in certain conditions, such as in the night with far distance or quiet destination. According to Chicago Transit Authority Customer Satisfaction Survey, it can be concluded that preventive action for crimes giving more impact to reduce fear. Because safety issues in women, there are physically less of events for criminality that might be happen anytime and anywhere. Women's experience and fear different forms of sexual remarks and gestures, rape and femicide. It happens on streets in and around public transportation, workplaces, public toilets, water and food distribution sites, and parks. Based on data that have been said before, there are many risks that will happen if we still implement gender neutral in public facilities because it might be impact to social inequality. So we argue this motion will rather than implement gender neutral,
time is
Indonesia
up.
should focus to enhance facilities. That's all from me. I'm Nikana. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, the third speaker of Affirmative House. Your time begins once you start speaking.
Thank you for the moderator. Thank you. And for the adjudicator, the honorable adjudicator, let me explain why this Indonesia should be implemented about a gender-neutral public facility. The first thing I want to clarify, it's the first speaker and the second speaker statement about a religion. Once again, I want to emphasize, it's already, if we're talking about a religion, there is no room for debate because it's already right in the Holy Book. So we can do arguing about that. The second one I want to clarify is about the lactating room that already mentioned from the first speaker. The lactating room, we can talk about a gender neutral facility about a lactating room because it's already just for a woman. So there is no room we can argue about that. And I will give a concrete example about the enhancing a safety. For example, gender space or gender neutral facility safer than gender space because multiple persons using the same facilities at the same time that receive more foot traffic and generally more open and visible, making less attractive to predators. Let additional one more reason why the Indonesia should be implemented about the gender neutral facility. Beyond the social aspect, implementing gender neutral public facility can also bring an economic effect. Gender neutral public facility can attract more tourists, particularly from the country where this facility are already prevalent. This can boost tourism revenue and contribute to the country's economic growth. Moreover, the gender-neutral facility encourages a more inclusive business environment. For a concrete example, Thailand, the most visited country in the Southeast Asia, our region. The data from an article today's online says that Thailand has a 12 million visitors just on a first half of 2023. This is because they have a discrimination. They have a low discrimination rate. So, to Honorable Adjudicator, the relation between the discriminative with the tourism is when the discriminative rate is low, it makes tourists feel more secure. The discriminative country makes tourists feel uncomfortable and it's clearly decrease the number of the visitors. So we believe this benefit makes the tourism grow and generate revenue. In conclusion, the direct impact which comes from the implementing such a kind of inclusive policy that just provide additional reason why this house is believing and will always stick with today's motion, which Indonesia should be implemented
The
gender
time is
neutral
up.
public facility. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, the third speaker of Negative House. Your time begins once you start speaking.
Okay, thank you, moderators, our honorable educators, team members, and all the audiences. Especially thank you for having us in this round. But we already hear that the team members advised us to start the implementation of public facilities for gender neutral, especially because of gender equality and remove inclusion. But once again, they forget to ensure us how about to feel safe before we use public facilities. Especially, our nation still has a low problematics when it comes to harassment and violence. We still hear a lot from news, our national news, that the victims' violence still find it difficult to prove that they are victim. In addition, the lengthy judicial process often makes the cases stall and not follow up. It means that we need legal certainty to protect all genders from violence before the violence happens. Ladies and gentlemen, as our first and second speaker said, we believe that our nation policy make a separation of using public facility not because to discriminate other gender, but giving all gender a great protection from fairness, harassment, and secure feeling to utilize public facilities. Because every gender has their special needs, especially for a girl or woman. They need a special attention, of course, compared to other gender. So we are agreed this separation actually in line with 5 criteria that public facilities are friendly for all genders, which are the infrastructure that concern on everyone needs, safe infrastructure, and comfortable for all gender. And if we talk about economic growth, we must remember that our nation is a large archipelago contained with so many cultures, tribes, local wisdom, and so on. Each region has its own norm for utilization public facilities for neutral gender. As an example, in Bali, the society is very open for any gender, by not, especially when may not making a special sign of any gender when public facilities, such as when we take a bus, public toilet. But when we move to another region, take it Java, the government make a separation in public facilities, especially because they believe this is the greatest way to avoid feminism from society. It means that our country has a good tolerance by mixing it to a local wisdom. And as a citizen, we have to respect for this differentiation of local system. So it means that this policy cannot be implemented equally to all regions, but we have to see about one by one in the region. And lastly, our team strongly advised not to implement this policy until there is a valid survey to every citizen in each region that show every citizen approves this policy, and we have a fair law to prevent us from the harassment. And now we advise our government,
Your time is up.
government educate citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we are entering the conclusion part. The first team that deliver their conclusion or replies goes to the negative team and then replied by the affirmative team. The negative team, you shall be ready. Your time begins once you start speaking.
Okay, thank you for moderator. I am replace to speaker 3. Our team believes that in Indonesia has not clearly accommodated or state clearly about transgender people. So when we talk about the safety, there must be laws that clearly prevent in before harassment occurs. Until now, Indonesia is expected from implement public facility without separating gender because the needs of each gender are different. Such as needs a woman with more complex than other genders. Legally, there is no regulation that can provide a sense of security to certain gender. So in the end, it needs continuity, evaluation, and monitoring from the government to introduce other gender into society, starting from improving our education system. Meanwhile, in United States, in the example, direct the natural gender or transgender are allowed to use the public facility according to their gender identity. Thank you.
You still have 50 seconds left. You still want to use it?
No, I'm done. Enough. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Then the affirmative side. Your turn. Your time begins once you start speaking.
The Honorable Adjudicator, let me conclude today's session by emphasizing some major points that it seems that not really underlined by the negative sides. That the urge to implement gender-neutral public facilities is a matter of promoting inclusivity and accessibility, a matter of enhancing safety and privacy, and beyond every social aspect, it's affecting the economic benefits. Let us set it clear by stick to our constitution that clearly states every human being in Indonesia can completely live in this country without a fear about discrimination, and there's a guarantee given according to that. Nowadays, it's just a matter of bringing Indonesia to the value that already declared and believed so many years before today. Once again, set aside dogmatism, or we can make another session of debate about religion and any other philosophical things. Do not limit our imagination about public facilities that state from the negative side. It's only state about public transportation or public bathroom. What about the park? Should we make boundaries at the park? Provide me some data or some clarification about it. And even if it only about that, we already stated before, Indonesia can fulfill the infrastructure standard for sure. For toilet itself, there are a kind of stall that can be provided. We bring the article and stated before. The first speaker already stated before. Ultimately, honorable adjudicators, dozens of concrete reasoning that we bring into this debate will be less beneficial if there is some limitation regarding to whether personal value or subjective belief. If BPJS Kesehatan can set a clear campaign about inclusiveness, so do Indonesia in the nearest future. Honorable adjudicator, thank you for the given opportunity to the affirmative house that will not stop on believing that Indonesia should start implementing genderless public facilities. Thank you for the given opportunity.
Thank you. The debate session is now over. Thank you for both teams. You have both delivered great arguments for this debate. Now it's time for the educators to discuss in the breakout room and then come back to deliver comments and announce the winning team of this session. Participants may have a break or bathroom break while waiting, but please stay still in this room until educators come back. Honorable educators, you may now enter the breakout room. Welcome back, our adjudicators. It's been a tough decision for our adjudicators, but this is a competition and we need to decide which team deserves to go to the next round. Let's hear the adjudicators' comment. We would like to invite Mr. Andi Ashar to deliver the comment. Time and media are yours.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Laras, moderator. Thank you very much for this pada kesempatan ini ya. Mungkin I will say in bahasa to make us now what is the reason I choose gitu ya. We choose the winner for this initiative national debate competition. Jadi dari dua tim ini semuanya bagus, ya semuanya bagus. Yang pertama mungkin terkait dengan ya ini secara umum ya, baik afirmative house maupun negative house. Mungkin sebaiknya gitu ya, ini sebaiknya bahwa pada saat kita melakukan suatu statement atau pernyataan, itu mungkin yang paling pertama kita harus bisa mendefend dulu. Kira-kira apa sih alasan utama kita? Ya, alasan utama kita menjawab daripada mosi yang kita bahas sore hari ini. Nah, itu bisa umpamanya defend-nya apa gitu ya. Kemudian bisa juga mungkin didukung data dan fakta yang otentik ya. Umpamanya dari sisi afirmatif kira-kira sudah ada belum umpamanya best practice gitu ya di mana di tempat lain gitu ya. Ataupun sebaliknya sama yang dengan negatif host tadi ya, sudah ada belum best practice ya, kira-kira seperti itu. Termasuk juga mungkin kalau saya sukanya data gitu ya, kuantitatif, apakah data pendukungnya bukannya kualitatif ya, mungkin itu ada didapatkan oleh teman-teman, karena kan namanya debat itu pastinya adalah kita harus punya fondasi dulu ya. Nah, mungkin kalau udah ada fondasinya, termasuk juga mungkin ada disclaimer ya. Disclaimer bahwa ya semacam batasannya sampai mana gitu ya, batasannya sampai mana. Semisal tadi udah di defend umpamanya case-nya A, kemudian dari A ini batasannya apakah sampai Z ataukah cukup hanya di A itu saja, supaya debatnya ini tidak tidak meluas, kira-kira seperti itu. Tapi karena ini adalah kompetisi gitu ya, maka tentunya nanti dari tim ya itu akan memilih siapa yang paling bagus. Semuanya bagus gitu ya. Nah, tentunya kan harus ada pemenang gitu ya. Tapi pada kesempatan sore hari ini nanti akan diumumkan lah oleh Mas Andi Asrul Juwanda itu ya. Tapi saya harus memilih gitu ya. The best speaker versi saya itu nanti jatuh kepada pembicara ketiga dari Negative House. Namanya siapa ya? Mas Iwan ya kalau nggak salah tadi ya.
Iya Pak, benar.
Ya, you are is my choice for the best speaker. Ya.
Thank you, Pak.
Baik, mungkin itu saja Mbak Laras.
Thank you, Mr. Andi Ashar. Next, please, Miss Ayatullah Pomalingo. The media is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Laras. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Bapak Depdir 12, Pak Manggisi Raja, thank you very much for joining this debate today. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, honorable adjudicators, moderators, and of course, all the participants from both teams, Kepil 12 and Kepil 8, and also the counselors. You know that it's great to see you today. And yeah, in today's debate, we witness a spirited and engaging discussion on the topic of some kind of weird topic, but it is interesting that Indonesia should start implementing general neutral public facilities by Kepil 12 and Kepil 8. And both teams demonstrated commendable effort in presenting their cases and engaging in rebuttals. Overall, it was an impressive display of debating skills. But you know that we are here, three of us, me, Pak Andi Ashar, Mas Asrul, need to provide some reviews of all of you. So here are the several feedback. First is about presentation style. We need the team that use gestures, eye contact, tone of voice, and we need also a higher level of enthusiasm that can keep the attention of the audience. Okay, remember that good arguments are substantiated rather than asserted. Okay, good conclusions are connected to the argument and the motion, and explain fully rather than simply stated. Okay, okay, and the third is, you know, that we have to concern to just only one case, and this is all to both teams. Okay, if we accept that the case has to be a central thesis supported by each speaker, so it is obvious that a team cannot be internally, what I said, contradictory in its team case. Second speaker have to strengthen first speaker by what? By using of data, using of statistics, using of another additional information. So it is a debate between teams, not just only a discussion between 6 individuals. All speakers on a team must be contributing to the same case, not to different ones. And I felt this. Okay. We appreciate that you are understanding the topics, but this is the rebuttal. So the alignment between the content of one to another speaker will be a must. Okay. And the fourth is, please don't ever use verbal filler or filler words like the informal debate. The use of verbal fillers will generally discourage or considered inappropriate. It will, participants are expected to articulate their arguments clearly and precisely. The use of fillers can make the speaker's points less clear and weaken the overall effectiveness of their argument. And it also consumes the time. Okay. And the last is about time management. Some of our speakers today cannot consume the time effectively, and it can it can waste your valuable time when you are when you're speaking or when you are make some conclusion of your speech. Okay. Maybe this is from me, I think. Oh, and one more. The clarity and the, what I say, in depth of the topic of or the case that you have speaking. Okay. In example, when one of the speaker tells us about inclusivity and accessibility, I want to hear from him what will be the next reason? What will be the in-depth reason that support the inclusivity and accessibility? It's just one only examples. Okay, but actually I'm really happy this day. I think your performance is really good and excellent. So good luck for you and thank you very much. I give it back to Mbak Laras.
Thank you, Ms. Ayatullah. Last but not least, please, Mr. Andi Ashar Juwanda to deliver the comment and announce the winner. The media is yours.
Oke, terima kasih Mbak Laras. Izin pakai bahasa Indonesia ya Bu ya. Tadi udah bahasa Inggris, sudah ada campuran, jadi saya fokus ke bahasa Indonesia. Jadi mungkin kalau dari saya tadi sebenarnya secara teknis sudah dijelasin sama Bapak Andi Ashar sama Bu Aya tentang bagaimana sebenarnya mekanisme debat. Cuman mungkin saya ingin lebih mendalam lagi sebenarnya fungsi dari masing-masing speaker dalam sebuah debat itu. Yang pertama dari both team yang saya tidak temukan itu adalah peran dari per speaker sebenarnya, dan itu merupakan peran vital. Jadi mereka harus bangun fondasi seperti yang sudah dijelasin tadi. Jadi per speaker itu harusnya mendefend dulu sebenarnya yang kita omongin hari ini apa gitu. Yang kita omongin hari ini apa. Terus mungkin bisa dikasih limitasi, nggak apa-apa defend aja. Jadi misalnya motion kita adalah tentang A misalnya. Jadi maksud dari A itu seperti apa? Kemudian kasih limitasi karena kebetulan untuk motion hari ini itu lebih luas ya. Jadi harusnya the per speaker itu memberi limitasi. Jadi batasan debat kita kali ini hanya terbatas di sini. Dan itu sebenarnya fungsi dari the per speaker. Dan harusnya dari negatif tim tadi, ketika afirmatif tim tidak mendefine, kemudian tidak memberikan limitasi, itu saatnya kalian rebuttal, kalian serang di situ. Karena itu sebenarnya keunggulan dari afirmatif untuk membangun fondasi atau bagaimana membawa arah debat itu sebenarnya. Tapi itu yang tidak saya temukan dari kedua tim. Dan harusnya the first speaker itu selain define, mereka juga harus membangun fondasi. Misalnya kita setuju dan kita tidak setuju dengan motion ini karena alasannya misalnya A, B, C. Enough. Kenapa harus seperti itu? Dan nanti the second speaker dari masing-masing tim itu yang pertama harus mungkin strateginya spare waktu untuk rebuttal yang pertama. Kemudian yang kedua harus mendukung dari pembicara sebelumnya, yaitu dengan cara provide data, research, sehingga kita bisa oh ya benar ya kita harus dukung ini. Tapi yang saya temukan dari both tim itu kayak masih dengan jalannya sendiri gitu ya. Jadi mungkin buat masukan teman-teman ke depannya juga itu harus diperhatikan ya. Jadi sebenarnya kalian harus saling supporting dari the first speaker, second speaker harus mendukung dengan membuat data-data, kemudian the third speaker itu lebih detail lagi. Yang pertama karena datanya, kemudian udah ada yang seperti ini. Dan mereka berhasil. Jadi kita harap bahwa Indonesia juga bisa seperti itu. Kemudian untuk masing-masing conclusion, harusnya di conclusion itu nggak usah tambah masalah baru lagi. Jadi you just need to make sure to us that you are the winner. You are eligible to the winner. Jadi bukan bikin masalah baru lagi. Oh ada ini lagi loh seperti ini. Itu nggak usah gitu. Harusnya itu the second and the third speaker gitu ya. Itu paling sih mungkin kedepannya bisa jadi masukan siapapun nanti yang menang. Kalau komentar saya cukup dan kalau tadi disuruh milih ya Mbak Laras ya masing-masing adjudicators best speaker-nya siapa ya? Kalau jujur dari saya the best speaker dari masing-masing tim dari debat kali ini saya lebih cenderung ke the second speaker from affirmative house. Untuk the best speaker gitu. Dan mungkin juga maaf saya ketinggalan tadi pembicara pertama dari afirmatif dan pembicara pertama dari negative house dan pembicara kedua dari negative house itu mungkin jangan ketika debat itu sebenarnya menyampaikan, bukan kayak membaca gitu. Jadi as if you read the script. You didn't try to convince us what you deliver to us gitu. Jadi sebenarnya nggak apa-apa punya konsep tapi ya harus apa ya namanya kayak menyampaikan ke kita, bukan kayak baca skrip seperti itu ya. Oke, langsung ke pengumuman ya. Jadi sebenarnya tadi kita udah lakukan diskusi dengan para adjudicators dan emang ini split decision dari kami dan ya namanya pertandingan pasti ada yang menang dan ada yang kalah. Yang pertama the best speaker untuk kali ini menurut pilihan juri jatuh pada the third speaker from negative house.
Kemudian, and for the winner, ini sebenarnya agak-agak ada perbedaan, tapi ya kita pilih yang paling ini. Jadi ada 2 adjudicators yang memilih tim ini, kemudian ada yang satu. Tapi untuk pemenang kali ini adalah Negative House. Ya, dari Negative House. Menurut pilihan juri. Oke, terima kasih Mbak Laras atas kesempatannya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Congratulations, General Atomics. You guys deserve it. And we highly, highly appreciate the Mambris that also shows us incredible performance. We hope that you continue to be the great warrior or the Mambris and join us again next year. You may not win today, but you have won this competition in our hearts. Thank you everyone for joining today's match. Thank you for all our amazing adjudicators, teams, counselors, and supporters from all over Indonesia. I'm Laras. We apologize for all the mistakes in the session. We say goodbye to Withdraw and see you in the next round. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mambris and General Atomics. See you on the next future.
Thank you all the adjudicators. Thank you, General.
Thank you
Atomics.
all.
Thank you, moderator, educators, and
Good luck.
Mambris.
Good luck too.